The ABCRA National Rodeo Finals is the sport's biggest stage. For 12 long months, the rodeo's best exponents contest grueling events across the nation in an effort to finish top 15, hence qualifying for the jewel in the crown of the sport. Today, you'll have the best seat in the house for highlights of barrel racing, bareback, steer wrestling and breakaway roping. The best of the best going head to head. On Fox Sports, welcome to the Australian Equine and Livestock Events Centre, our exclusive coverage presented by the ABCRA in conjunction with Westpac, RM Williams, Cinch Jeans and Jack Daniels.
Hi, tremendous to have your company on Fox Sports right around Australia, and welcome to episode 1 in this our exclusive coverage of the ABCRA National Rodeo Finals. A sellout here tonight. It should be a fantastic night of entertainment. Let's have a look at what comes your way in the next hour. We've got for you barrel racing, bareback, steer wrestling and breakaway roping. With me is Hall of Famer Glenn Morgan, expert commentator. Glenn, it all comes down to tonight. It's a massive stage in the sport of rodeo.
It certainly is, Dave. 356 days of competition, 52 weeks of the year these guys and girls have been on the road, and they've come down to the 4th round of this year's national finals to determine who wins the silver and gold championship buckle.
A couple of dynamic classes in action tonight, if I can use that expression. Barrel racing, a lot of precision and skill involved there.
Barrel racing's probably been the toughest event at this year's national finals. 15 girls, and I can honestly say every one of those competitors is quality. They're certainly up for the task, and you'll see some good times. Fastest of the week, 17.34.
What about the steer wrestling? I mean, a lot of the participants in this sport would not be out of place packing down the back row for New South Wales in state of origin.
That's true. There's some guys up to about 120, 25 kgs, but some of the youngest men we've seen for a long time, they've really come of their age in recent times, and of course Heath Nichols has really set the standards high in steer wrestling this year. Once
again, welcome to our coverage here on Fox Sports of the ABCRA National Rodeo Finals coming your way here in Tamworth.
Now it's time for the bareback, and I make no bones about the fact this is one of my favourites. I have Di Hallam and Glenn Morgan in commentary with me. The latter has won multiple national finals in this class of competition and in the Rodeo Hall of Fame. Take it away, Glenn.
Yeah, bareback bronc riding, you'll see in this event, Dave, where they hang onto a suitcase type handle. There's absolutely no control over the wild bucking horse in this competition. And our first competitor is Ben Lees, young man that makes his home down in the Raymond Terrace region. He is a second-year qualifier for the national finals and one of Australia's toughest men when it comes to saddle bronc and bareback riding competitions. Ben Lees tonight, young man in the competition, was on a very, very tough horse indeed called Sally Boy from the Gary McPhee Rodeo Company.
Glenn, there's a lot to this sport in terms of the way you position your body, position your legs, your feet and so forth to maximise your point scoring.
Yeah, it certainly is. It is indeed. It's all about lifting on that handle, keeping your body right up close to the handhold, and of course making the best of that 8-second ride.
Just have a look at this on replay, the physical punishment their bodies endure. I can't believe this.
No, it certainly does, and you can see that neck brace that Ben has there. His head gets whipped like a stock whip. Your body is thrown back, and it can be one of the most grueling events in the sport of rodeo competition.
Okay, next we have Owen Lee, one of our North Queensland cowboys. A great, exciting prospect in this bareback riding for the future, I think, Glenn.
Yeah, he certainly is. This young man comes from the sugar mining towns up there around Proserpine. Deadwood is the horse from the Wayne Fitzsimmons string there in Muswellbrook. Young rookie cowboy comes here with a passion of being a national bareback riding champion one day. And you can just see his first year at our national finals, his body may have just got tipped momentarily. His spurring action was pretty neat. Our pickup riders, the RM Williams boys, Peter and David Kelly, you'll see the way they ride into position. Their job is to assist get that horse back off safely onto the ground. Going through that spurring motion. The judges will like what they see here. He's working from the point of the shoulder right through to the handle of the rigging. Just a little bit flat there, but the judges have come through with a 72-point score on that occasion for Owen Lee.
Wow. It defies description. Darren Clarke is next man up.
The $1 Million Cowboy riding a former ABCRA Bareback Horse of the Year, Ride Tough Bewitched.
Yeah, well, this is a guy that's a great matchup. He has ridden 5 times at the World Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's won more prize money in this event than any other Australian bareback rider. And to his credit, at probably the top end of his career, Darren Clarke still holds his head high as one of Australia's greatest bareback riders. You'll see this on the replay. He works nice and close to the horse. See how his free arm's nice and square off his shoulder, keeps his body nice and square on his bareback riding rigging. The judges are going to like what they see here when the numbers come through for Darren Clarke. It's going to look good. 80 points. I can see from the commentary he did what he had to do, and our judges here tonight, they will like what they saw there with Darren Clarke. 80 points, his rewarded score.
He'd be happy with that. Joel Taylor. Now it's his turn.
Yeah, Joel's drawn a horse by the name of Rosie. He's been battling it out this week with Cliff Richardson for the rookie honours, but not the week he's wanted, Glenn.
Now this little horse is a bit rude and a little rank. I'm not sure if Joel will get by on him. Can be a little hard for a young rookie cowboy. There it is. Got him tipped off away from his handhold. What happened, you'll see on the replay on this occasion for Joel Taylor, he was a little flat-footed with his spurs. He didn't take the pressure off his riding arm. And, of course, that in turn put a lot of pressure on his shoulder, which he's holding. See, he's a little flat-footed, not getting that pressure like we saw with our previous rider with Darren Clarke. His feet are popping, they're hopping, and, of course, this is where he gets into a bite of trouble. He's going to look for the self-preservation. That's the second hand, what we call touchdown or double grabbed in bareback bronc riding for Joel Taylor.
Self-preservation, so important. Clayton Lane.
Clayton Lane, one of our cowboys from North Queensland, from Collinsville, actually.
Yeah, this is a very famous old Gary McPhee horse called Kingsway. Can be a bit of a handful for a young cowboy, and he's going to know he's drawn this horse too. Oh, see the power and strength of that horse. And Gary McPhee primarily breeds horses for the sport of rodeo competition. With all of Clayton's experience here this afternoon, it wasn't good enough. When I saw the draw here today and I saw Kingsway alongside his name, I thought this horse is going to be probably a little too tough for Clayton here this afternoon, and it's proved right. Gary McPhee very, very proud of that little horse.
And Clayton was dusted, busted and disgusted. Jimmy Menzies next.
He's on another horse from the Gary McPhee pen by the name of Corrion Kid. Another tough horse to get by, Glenn?
Yeah, no, I think Jimmy will probably get by. This is Corrion Kid. Jimmy's a little jockey weight size cowboy. You look at the size of him, he weighs about 58 kilos, I reckon. Small guy, but he can use that little upper body balance to get by on a horse that the Cowboys can score good points on. Jimmy, I think, was stretched to the limits there too by G. Didn't overexpose himself, stayed pretty solid. He saw the previous two riders bucked off. I think he just rode a little cautious here today, looking to stay in the average, of course, and Jimmy Menzies had ridden all his horses to this point of time. Whipped him forward momentarily. He got his body back, kept his chin tucked, just trying to get that 8-second whistle through for Jimmy. Nothing too extravagant, just sitting back and waiting for that whistle to blow. And it's a 70-point score, of which that horse scored a lot of those points.
He's diminutive, but big in heart.
Yeah, here's another guy with a big in heart. This is Aaron Briner. Led the rookie bareback riding for the first 9 months or first 10 months of 2011. But he has been ambushed with Cliffy Richardson. As the boys come up and took the challenge, Aaron Briner's drawn Cloudy here today, and he's going to need to make some ground up. He's going to look to score pretty high. Riding extremely safe, but I'm not so confident that mark-out rule may have applied here. And if you fail to have those spurs over the break of the horse's shoulder, it's a livestock advantage rule. And from where I'm looking here, I don't believe Aaron Bryant abided by those rules. And those judges may well take him out with a no score.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Glenn. Just waiting for the judge's decision to come through.
Yeah, Aaron was just a little flat, a little hesitant. He's had a lot of pressure this year, and unfortunately the judges have picked up on him, as we have here in commentary, and they've taken him out with a no score in the final round.
Yeah, you predicted it. What about the look of determination on the Cowboys' faces before the chute gate flings open?
Yeah, no, certainly something of focus, and Wade Clifford's going to show us plenty too. This young man makes his home over there at Malali, west of Gunnedah, him and his lovely wife Tennille. Bareback riding cowboy, specialises in this rough stock event, and he's really chasing some big points here today. Opening up a little, trying to keep that upper body square as he comes around the corner. They've got a big score in 80 points to chase of Darren Clarke, so these remaining competitors are really going to have to be on their game if they're to be any chance of taking that lead away from Darren Clarke.
Well, you've got to think a good supply of painkillers would be evident out the back.
Yeah, no, Wade's an experienced rider. He's probably in the top 5 in Australia when it comes to experience. Rides his horse pretty nice, making a long, smooth spurring action. Once again, like Darren Clarke, trying to keep that upper body square to keep those legs and that spurring motion as even as he possibly can. Judges have come back with a score of 72 points from Wade here tonight, 72 points.
Gerard Oversby.
Yeah,
Gerard, a former Western Australian cowboy that now calls Sky home, I think, actually, Glenn.
Yeah, that's right. And Jared's going to know that he's drawn a good horse here from Matt and Rachel Adams. This is one of the famous horses from Matt String out there at Mendor, and can be a little rude, can be a little tough. And I'll tell you what, Jared is experienced. That is one of the rankest bareback horses here tonight. And by the look of Jared's face, we haven't seen him backed off in bareback riding for probably 6 months. And tonight here in round number 4, it's come up pretty quick. And he still looks astonished. Horse read out. Jared got 2 legs on one side momentarily, then whipped him right out of shape. Looked like that he'd recovered. But to the credit of this little horse, he didn't weaken. He then changed direction a second time. And, of course, that was just too much here tonight for Jared Oversby and Ride Tough Stefan from the Matt Adams String.
He does look stunned.
Yeah, I think he is. He's not used to bucking off. He's a tough cowboy and he's hard to get on the ground. So that's a bit of a shock to Jared's system, I think.
I'd capitulate in a matter of seconds if it were me.
Okay, another cowboy from Western Australia, Wade McCarthy. Second generation cowboy? Yeah,
that's right. His dad was a great bull rider many, many years ago, and his mum a barrel racer. But this young Western Australian cowboy's drawn one of the nicer horses. This is a horse called Cajun Queen from the Gary McPhee Rodeo Company. But looking from where I see, I can nearly imagine that the judges haven't liked that mark-out rule. See, his feet blew over one side of the horse's neck, 2 feet on one side, and that will bring an automatic disqualification, the livestock advantage rule. And I've got to give credit to our judges here today, Jeff Edwards, and of course with him this weekend, Mick Gray. They are the astute judges. They're 2 of Australia's best, and they've picked up an infringement in that riding rule.
Crowd here are loving this. Peter Price is next to Strutty Stuff.
Another West Australian cowboy. You know, like they've really featuring in this bareback riding event. Peter has drawn a horse by the name of Computer Games. Let's see how much fun he has on this horse.
Yeah, well, these Western Australian guys are probably not accustomed to big, strong horses we see here at the National Finals. And, you know, the contract stock here, they're selected from the very best contractors in the eastern states of Australia. And in Western Australia, sometimes these horses can tend to be a little intimidating. And Peter Price, with all the right intentions, Computer Games was just a little too strong, ripped that handhold away from him very, very quickly.
Well, that was a face-first landing.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of weeks for Peter Price in the bareback bronc riding, that is for certain.
Dion Lane, how do you rate his prospects, Glenn?
Well, Dion's the younger brother of Clayton we saw already here tonight. This kid can ride. Don't worry about that. He's tough, he's strong. He's a little taller than Clayton. Brumby Jack from the Matt Adams String. Nice little horse. Let's see if Dion gets him started. Here it is, that long, smooth spurring action. Look at him opening up. There is plenty of exposure. The upper body's pretty good, and the judge is going to like this. I don't know if his horse is good enough to take him to the 80-point lead, but I tell you what, a very, very respectable ride from young Dion Lane here in this final round of the bareback riding. He's going to put a little pressure on. I'll guarantee one thing, he will win some form of a check here tonight.
He's pretty happy.
Yeah, he would be. Lots of exposure, nice long fluent spurring action. The horse helped him, kicked out steep on numerous occasions. That is going to be around about mid-70s, I'm looking at this point of time, and there it is. The judge has come through with a 7-4, 74 points. That's going to see him in the top 3 at this stage.
Nice to have your company on Fox Sports, the sports leader right around Australia. If you've just joined in, this is the ABCRA National Rodeo Finals, biggest event in this sport.
Okay, next we have D. Heinemann, the reigning champion, on a horse from Gary McPhee String called Scotty.
Yeah, well, once again, here's a guy that's already won 3 Australian bareback riding titles. D. Heinemann, he's a specialist in this event. He's chasing the Australian all-round title. This is one event that he can accumulate some points on for that championship. He needs to finish in the top 3 in this round to be any chance of the all-round title. Dee's done that on 1,000 different other occasions. It's all part of a day's work for D. Heinemann. Starts him nice and solid. The mark out rule's good. Now, it's pretty much copybook. He's upper body nice and square. Watch the feet, watch the spurring action. It's all in timing of that horse. And once again, a nice polished ride. I think it's going to be a little better. There it is, 75 from our judges. And they've certainly seen it in the same light as I have here today. A 7.5 moves him into second place in the round.
His body was copping an absolute battering. Tim Richardson is next. No place for the faint-hearted this sport.
Okay, next we have Tim. He's drawn a horse by the name of Cheyenne Brave. He was last year's rookie bareback riding champion. Let's see what he can get done tonight on this good horse.
Yeah, this is a handful, and Timmy Richardson's not been in the best of form this week. And once again, that's disappointing for Tim. We saw him have a very big year in 2011, 2010. But, boy, the last 3 months have proved a bit tough for Tim. He's got to get him back in the zone a little more. This horse is strong. You don't get a second chance when you get out of shape on this little horse. And you'll see he took a little run. Timmy started that spurring action, but he wasn't getting any weight with his feet. He was just a little flat-footed. And when that horse veered to the left, there was no weight with his feet and his spurs. And, of course, that was enough to bring him down to the ground pretty early.
Okay, now this next cowboy is Tim's younger brother, Cliff. Now, this guy has made an impact in bareback riding this last 9 months, Glenn.
Well, this is the one I want you to watch because, folks, this kid is probably going to be one of Australia's upcoming champions in the next couple of years. This is a great matchup, and this is one that we can see lots of points on. This horse has got lots of move. Cliffy Richardson's got lots of aggression. Look at this. He's letting it all hang out here in the final rounds. Man, that crowd liked it. We liked it up here, and I tell you what, that was a job just to get by on that particular horse. Man, oh man, he's going to be happy.
Crowd loved it.
He's an exciting young guy to watch, and that's a great horse. Mandy's boy from the McPhee string. That was an awesome matchup and a great way to finish off this round.
Yeah, it certainly was, Diane. This little horse stood up straight. See, he got 2 legs on one side, but he didn't weaken, he didn't phase anything. He just kept throwing everything he could at that horse. It kept blowing his feet left, right, out, and of course he's had to work overtime. And that horse is a very, very good horse from the Gary McPhee Rodeo Company.
Hope you've enjoyed the bareback action, recapping it. Richardson, Clarke, Heinemann, Lane, Clifford and Owen Lee equal on 5th. Let's go down to Fiona right now.
I'm here with D. Heinemann, and he's just won the bareback title for this year. D, there's nothing you haven't won when it comes to all rounds and bareback titles. Does this one mean as much as your first title?
Yeah, it did, because actually halfway through the year I was riding that bad, I nearly quit, so I finally got a bit of a roll on, and it was good to finish the year. I haven't rode that good here through the injury, but it's good to get it done, I guess. Yeah.
And where to from here? Like, is there future goals, or what's the story?
No, I'll have most of next year off, I guess, and heal up a bit and probably get a knee done and stuff, and we'll see what goes in the future from there, I guess.
And obviously this event's really hard on your body. Do you take a toll doing it for as long as you have?
Oh, mate, yeah, everyone does. It doesn't matter if it's a long time or a short time. It is the toughest event in rodeo on your body, but we all love it. That's why we do it. So.
Well, congratulations, and we hope you stick around.
Thanking you.